Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Good morning, Miami Dolphin fans. I know it's a tough morning to be a Dolphin fan. Once again, the Dolphins fall to one of the better teams in football, going to 0-3 against teams with winning records this year. Another punch in the chin. Bright side is, if you want to look at the bright side, the Buffalo Bills lost last night. So we're still sit atop the AFC East, but we didn't take care of our own business. But like I say, if you want to look for a bright side, that will be the bright side, that we're still sitting in control of the AFC East as we sit here on November 6, 2023. Good morning, Crazy Dolphin. Thank you as always. Always come in here. Thank you so much. So the bright side is the Buffalo Bills lost last night, but unfortunately, so did our Miami Dolphins. And as bad as the Dolphins started off that game yesterday, they still had their chances to win, but they just once again fell short. Whether you want to blame Tua on that ugly pass at the end, you want to blame McDaniel on some play calling, bad miscommunication. It was bad. It was ugly. And it was followed up by a drop snap by Tua to close this further dagger and the final knife in the back. And yes, Crazy Dolphin, thank you so much for giving those thumbs up. You rock. And a big fins up to you, Crazy Dolphin. We could sit here and play the blame game. We'll get into a little bit as the show goes on. But overall, it's a team loss, and that's what it is. It's just a team loss. We continue to beat ourselves in these games, no doubt. You are at 100. Thank you, John, coming from the Facebook side. You rock. But yes, we just continue to beat ourselves, make mistakes. As much as we want to blame Tua or McDaniel at the end, I mean, we all see it with our own eyes. It wasn't a great pass, but it was probably like one of those he saw Cedric going, and then all of a sudden he was going to throw the comeback, then he realized Cedric was going, and then it just kind of squirted out of his hand. There's probably all forms of truth in there. It probably was miscommunication, but it was also an ugly pass. And then the fumble snapped at the end. And you can blame Connor for having slightly. I blame Tua. It hit his hands. If we're going to have the same standard for receivers, hey, if it hits your hands, it should be yours. The quarterback to have be held to that standard. It hit his hands. Yes, he went a little over, but he dropped the snap. And it just was an ugly ending to an ugly game because the Dolphins just never seemed. They seemed like the team that was jet lag starting that game. They're like the team that just flew in over, a couple of days before the game started. We were down 21-0. If Tyreek Hill doesn't have that fumble, I mean, if we don't get points, like somehow we don't get points there. I mean, that was the brutal turning point of the game because it was 14-0, but it looked like we were going to get a score at the end of the first half. But not only did we not get a score, we gifted them 7 points. And not only did we gift them 7 points, we gifted them from the guy that's been on the Kansas City Chiefs, wanted to kill his old team, and he said end up helping his old team. You can blame some blocking in there. That was a horribly designed play, set up, whatever, because he caught the ball and he's being hit right away. There was no lead block, nothing out there. So you could blame a few things on that. Yes, that's it. The defense played well. If you would have told me the defense would only give Patrick Mahomes and crew 2 offensive touchdowns, I would have taken that. I would have said, oh my God, the Dolphins they would have won that game if you told me Patrick Mahomes is only going to muster 2 offensive scores all game. We shut them out in the second half like they shut us out in the first half, and we did not come out on top. To me, it's inexcusable not having any execution down there at the end. I don't care if you want to blame coach. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can all pound the table on who's to blame. Tua, Mike McDaniel combination. I think Mike McDaniel did not call his best game. As you know, I always pick this up, and even though it's water in here, I always say I'm drinking the Mike McDaniel Kool-Aid. But yesterday was not his great game because people are saying, "Oh, the Dolphins weren't running it." But if you go back and look at the stats, Mozart was averaging over 7 yards a carry yesterday. And on some of those drives in the second half, man, they went away from it. He was pounding it, man, 7 yards a carry, and they just kind of got away from that, and I don't know why. So I blame. Hey, good morning, G man, and yes, Crazy and John, all you guys, a big good morning. Yes, worst game by Tyreek as a fan, and lo and behold, it comes against his former team. Maybe he just amped him up. So he maybe amped him up too much. He wanted to kill his own team. They kind of lost that vision, and it's just it fell kind of on. It's just oh no, the season is far from this. That's why you know I sent out the tweet saying that the Dolphins have questions to answer heading into the bye week, but it's far from over. Buffalo Bills lost last night, so that helps. It don't. Hopefully, the quarterback could be all love to pick on Justin Herbert. Not so much me because I always say, hey, both quarterbacks can be good. But I'm going to join Dolphin Nation tonight and hope Justin Herbert plays well actually tonight, and he can beat the Jets because the Jets are breathing right down our necks in the division, and that's without Aaron Rodgers, and they're right there. They only have 3 losses. If they win tonight, going into the bye week, we're off. They play next week. Granted, they play Buffalo, so it's going to be hard to know who to root for in that matchup. But they play each other next week, and that should be an interesting game. But the Buffalo fell to the Jets in the first game up there, so we will see now. It flips over to Buffalo now. So that'd be an interesting game. That's about the most interesting game for a Dolphin fan next week since we're in a bye week. So, but yeah, as far as yesterday's game, coming out flat surprised me. I did not think we would come out flat. We had spent the week over there. Maybe that wasn't the best philosophy. Maybe that backfired. Maybe they were too thinking that they had that advantage because they just came out, couldn't muster up anything on offense in that first half. Then at the end of that first half, like I said, they finally drive the ball decent. And then Tyreek has his fumble, which was the big dagger at the time. I thought, John, 21-0. There's no way we're going to win. This is going to be a blowout loss. But lo and behold, the Dolphins kept the Chiefs to 0 points in the second half. So we had multiple opportunities, multiple. The defense is definitely not to blame in this one. And that maybe is my one nugget of sunshine in the future. If the defense plays at this level, you would think that the offense will start stepping up their game again and playing better. But to me, there's plenty of blame to go around. There's just plenty of blame, and it was a very gut wrenching loss, especially when as bad as what it looked like we played at that end of the game, we had our chance to tie it up. And we just fluttered it away, ducked it away, bad called it away, audibled it away, whatever you want to say. We screwed up that last play when we had the opportunity to technically the last play was a bad, horrible fumbled snap. I mean, it was a fumble snap on Tua's part in mind, but that was the part. Hey, Scotty, big fins up to you. Big fins up to you. Hey, Bobby of Fins Talk Sports Network. I'll be on his network tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. on the Fins Talk Sports Network, talking again about this game. It was just, like I said, it came down to disappointment because as poorly as they played the entire game, at the end, they had their chance and they choked. And that's how I'm gonna. They choked. Whether you want to say Tua solely choked it, whether they audible solely choked it, he fumbled the snap at the end. That's on Tua. To me, I don't care if it's slightly to the side. Tyreek Hill gave them that 7 points at the end of the first half. Was another dagger. I'm just rehammering some of these points because we got new people coming into the room, so they hadn't been in here. So sorry if you've been in here and I rehammered those points, but that's where we at. My philosophy is doesn't matter who we blame. Do we blame Tua for throwing an awful pass? Do we blame miscommunication? Do we blame whoever? It doesn't matter. The team lost as a team. There are some good vibes coming up, though. Thank you, Cincinnati, for beating the Buffalo Bills last night. So we're not going to hear Buffalo Bills talk too much trash. Don't worry, it's all right on posting. He should be calmer tomorrow. That's fine. I mean, I sent you the text. I wasn't even going to watch the post game last night because I was doing a sour mood. So I got off of football. I did watch though. I surprisingly I ended up watching Sunday night football. Didn't watch the afternoon games because I didn't want any part of that. But then I wanted to see how Buffalo was doing, and I ended up watching basically the whole game. But I was trying to stay away from football. Hey, Daniel Taylor, big fins up to you. Thank you. And hit those thumbs up buttons if you just got in here. Hey, yes. I'm surprised though, because when I was talking to Bob, I mean, yeah, Steve was actually okay. I talked to him on the phone yesterday and he was okay. He was a little mad. He was blaming Tua a lot, but like I said, it's a team loss. Tua definitely didn't come through, but it was a team loss overall. So that's how I look at. Yes, G man, the team chokes in pressure in game situations. They definitely choked yesterday. I'm telling you, they had that game. It's not because Kansas City stepped up and made a great play. They choked that play. They could have made it 21-21. And with how the game was going, I think Miami probably would have won in overtime. I don't think they would have gone for two. I heard that debate. Well, if they would have scored there, would they have gone for two? I do not think so because it's not like Kansas City was killing us on offense at that point. Because I mean, if Kansas City had won the toss, I think the Dolphins would have been confident that they would have held them not to at least get a touchdown. So I think they would have kicked the extra point. Hey, Shake Money. Hey, yes, it is. It's another beautiful day here in South Florida for sure. And I'm loving it. It's nice. Going to take a nice little bike ride after this, after lunch, and all that good stuff. So it is a beautiful day. Just not a beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. But I do believe that the Dolphins are still in control of their own destiny. They are in first in the AFC East. Don't look back, though, because the Jets are right down our necks being so what are you guys rooting for, man? Are you rooting for Buffalo or the Jets next week when they face each other? I would like to see what Dolphin Nation who they would be pulling for in that one next week. Interesting. Because I don't know who to root for to tell you the truth. I wish I had a crystal ball to know who would be better down the stretch to know. I know one thing for sure. We still have two games against the Jets ahead. So if you look like, oh, you want to be in control, you'd rather be going against a team that we still have a chance to beat twice. You could look at it that way. Yes, I know that can't get well, to me, the snap was, yeah, you can't get a clean snap off. Yep, because it wasn't clean because Tua dropped it. But I blame that more on Tua than the snap. But yes, I get what you mean. It wasn't a clean snap when quarterback drops it. Whether you want to blame him or the center, that's really just a bad. What a way to end the game. It's just fitting for how the season's gone so far against good teams. Just give you a hint that they can compete. Just to only trick us in the end, and we're out with another loss. We're 0-3 against teams with winning records this year. We still got opportunities. The Ravens are really playing well. We got them up there on the road, so that's going to be a scary game. Still got another game against the Bills. We got the Jets, who currently have a winning record, and let's see, the Jets are at 4-3. So if they win tonight, they have a winning record. So we got teams that we can beat coming here in the near future. But yesterday's game, like I say, was just gut wrenching. I still don't know why we went away from the run. Because when you look at the stats from yesterday, let's see Miami Dolphins stats. Mozart had 12 carries, 85 yards, one touchdown, and that was good for a 7 yards per carry average. And we just kind of to me, man, I would have just kept on pounding, especially when he was running to the left. That was just working so well, and they kind of went away from that. Shake Money. Let's see. Oh, Crazy Dolphin. He says, "Good morning, Shake Money, my brother." Tua never steps up in either a critical moment against a great team. That could be true, man, but let's just give him a second. Yes, Moser is a man. He needs to get rid of that fumbling issue. Outside of his fumbling issue, I mean, some guys just happen to knock the ball well. Like he has fumbled a little too much this year. But man, the man was averaging over 7 yards a carry. And I thought we kind of went away from that. And then it was like, well, the Chiefs are shutting down the run. But when a guy's averaging 7 yards a carry, to me, that's not a team shutting down the run. That's the team going away from the run for whatever reason. The bye week comes at a good time, I guess. It would have been a lot sweeter coming after a victory. Having sitting at 7-2 would have been a lot nicer than sitting at 6-3. Heading into the bye week, really in control after Buffalo lost last night. We could have been 2 games up on them in the division. Depending on what the Jets do tonight, it should be fun. Yes, Miami Dolphins need to get clutch gene, have ice in their veins. And I thought they were going to have that this year, Daniel, because when they had that first game against the Chargers, Tua led the team on a game-winning drive, hit Tyreek on that almost impossible pass to complete, and he did that. I thought that was Tua stepping up big time, but it's faded since that point. So hopefully those Chargers tonight, like I say, can beat the Jets tonight. That would be nice. So I guess a lot of it would depend on that too. Like on my question I asked, do you guys want the Bills or do you want the Jets when they face each other? So that could depend a lot on what happens tonight. Let's see. Let's see next week. Is there any good games while the Dolphins are off? Oh, okay. So I was wrong. They don't play next week. When do they play? When do the Bills and I'm trying to find when the Bills and Jets play. Team schedules. But anyway, yeah, let me go. I'm gonna go to team schedule. Everyone says Fangio made adjustments after the first drive. I don't really. Everyone says Fangio made. Hold on, let me get it up. That's I can see it bigger. Everyone says Fangio made adjustments after the first round. I don't really see that. The defense just settled down. The game plan stays the same unless you can point to an actual change he made. No, you're right. I don't really think. I think Kansas City just had that first drive scripted and they had their ways to go. Because a lot of times teams do really well on the first drive because they plan all week. It's like a scripted drive to start. And yeah, I didn't really see many adjustments either. Scotty, let's see. I did, Scotty. Let's see. What answer were you? What question were you answering, Crazy Dolphin? On that Moser is a man, I guess. Yeah. So what did he make, Crazy Dolphin? What adjustments did he make? I come in moment to ask this insincere. I agree with him. Oh, okay. Yes. That's our next game. I know. I'm just trying to think. Is that yes, they do. I know we never just get off. Well, I mean, depends. I can't say never. We had a couple of games where we got out like quick on the first drives, but those scripted drives come in and they hit us, especially when you're playing those good teams. And they just come out and punch us in the mouth, and it seems like we're down 7-0 before you even know what hit you. But yesterday, the Dolphins just couldn't get. Normally, they do well in that very first drive, and I don't know. They just never really got in gear on the offense yesterday. And yes, Kansas City has a good defense, ranked highly, but I think it was more us just misfunctioning than Kansas City dominating us. And we just seem out of sort, man. We just never got in the flow. Tua was a little off a few times, but some of our receivers could have made grabs to help him because you watch some of these other games, like when Joe Burrow throws up some balls, Chase and these guys go up there and make grabs that you're like, whoa, he just helped his quarterback out a lot with that big grab and snatch out of the air. So, we need some of our guys to step up like that and do it. If he has identified adjustments. I'm sure he assists if he has identified the adjustments. Yeah, I know. To me, I think defense just did step up and play, but I didn't see any adjustment. I mean, well, of course, we're just talking from one drive to the rest of the game, but in the rest of the game, I didn't really see many different formations, different blitz packages, many different things that he changed coverages up. Hey, the good thing is in my pregame show, I said I did not want, Kelsey beating us. Kelsey sure as heck did not beat us. Unfortunately, we kind of beat ourselves. I really took, and I'm not saying that to just Kansas City Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champs for a reason because they're a very, very good team. But the Miami Dolphins beat the Miami Dolphins yesterday, is how I look at it. We just couldn't step up and make the big play when it was needed. We played Kansas City down basically 21 to nothing. We spotted them. And we just never got rolling. It just, for whatever reason, it's just to me, that's like I feel like we beat ourselves. I don't know. We put too much into going over there early in the week. Tyreek Hill put too much going against his old team. It just seemed like we just came out discombobulated. We just never got in the flow offense. We just never felt like that flow of the Dolphins offense where it's like, oh, one big play, another big play. And the next thing you know, you're in the red zone getting ready for a touchdown. We just never got in the flow of the game offensively. And it came back to bite us in the end because we finally had that chance at the end of the game, despite all the bad play we did, we had a chance at the end of the game to tie it up. And it's tough. Hey, back it up, Ben. Back it up, Ben's podcast. Yes, no, you're right, man. The penalties you can't do penalties, and you can't turn the ball over. We at least created a turnover, which helped our offense because we hadn't been moving the ball and we got the ball deep in their territory due to one. That's what I say. Just the Dolphins offense just never got in the flow yesterday, man. Our defense set up that one, and then we had to be helped by Chris Jones doing a stupid penalty on that drive before Moser punched it in for a touchdown. So he gave us, he basically gifted us 7. So it's just for whatever reason, they fell flat. And it's how can you fall flat in the game that you were probably marking as the game of the year when you're Miami Dolphin fans for sure. But I'm sure the Dolphins themselves, definitely Tyreek Hill, but the Dolphins themselves know that's the standard you want to set. You want to beat the best. And the Kansas City are the best in the AFC and in the NFL until someone takes their crown. And that's the game they set their sights on. And they came out flat. It's inexcusable. And that's why I don't like blaming one person. The whole team came out flat because, yes, Tua at the end, he didn't come up clutch. But there's so many opportunities throughout that game that you could have been, that shouldn't even have mattered at the end, that we could have taken control of that game. You only give Patrick Mahomes 14 points on the offensive side of the football, and you can't come up with enough points to win. That means it's the whole team. Quarterback's going to get most of the blame because he is the quarterback. We give him the praise when he wins. We give him the blame when he loses. But that final duck of a pass, as they were calling it on some other channels. And by the way, go check out Miss Fins if you don't already do so. I know most of you do. Great content. But, I saw some people over there calling it a duck. Crazy. Were you able to identify? I keep an eye out during film things. Well, Scotty, you always watching all 22. So when I do one of my later shows this week, you can come and tell me, oh, yes, Rob, they did do some adjustments. But yeah, just to me watching live, I didn't see any major scheme. Oh, they're changing coverages up. I didn't see any of that. I just saw that Kansas City came out with their scripted drive, scored, and then, you know, they just didn't do as well the next couple of times. We got woken up on defense. We started playing better. We got in the groove, and it's it's just a shame though because this is the game we did all focus on because not only how it turned out when the season started, we all look, oh, we're going to be playing in Kansas City, but little did we know that we weren't going to have Ramsey all season, and this would be the first game that we get him and Xavier and Javon Holland all playing together in a game. We didn't know that all at the time. We didn't know. Well, we maybe figured that Armstead on the offensive tackle position would have been out for a while, but we didn't know that was going to be the game that we would get him back. all that emerged to be in that game, and we still came out stinking flat. And to this day, I mean, to even though it's only one day later, I would still say the Dolphins beat themselves more than the Chiefs beat us yesterday because we had our opportunities and we just couldn't get it done. It's not like they were just blowing through our line and killing Chula every play. It's just we just never got in a rhythm. We just never got flowing, and it's just that's I think the most disheartening thing about yesterday's loss. If it would have been like Buffalo and they're just up on us by a few touchdowns, you're like, okay, we're just we're just not there yet. But when you just see it that you're playing them toe to toe when you're not even playing your best football, and it's just so frustrating to me yesterday. It's just frustrating more. That's the word of the day, frustrating, because we had so many opportunities in that game. The defense gave the offense so many opportunities to tie the game up. I mean, at the end, and because twice they gave the Dolphins the ball, one with a lot more time on the clock where we could have made it 21-21, and then maybe be playing for the lead at the end. But instead, we had to punt back to them, still get them out with plenty of time on the clock to move down the field, which we finally did, only to have that horrible ending. But it's just very frustrating yesterday. I don't know what to say. Very Yes, that's another injury, man. We finally get him back off it, and then he's a backup all for a minute because we have Wynn and other players, and he Wynn goes down, and then Jones comes in there, and now he's down, and it looks like his agent is saying that it's a knee, hyperextended knee or whatever he came out and said. So he's due for an MRI. It's just things. Hey, yes, Fins TV 305. A big fins up to you. And yes, the defense played yesterday. They played well. No, you're right, crazy. I know it's it, man. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. It's just so frustrating. My keyword of the day. It's just really was a disappointment. Because if they would have just came out and blew us away, I would have said, "Man, we're just not ready for this level yet. We are just not there." But they just teased you enough by doing just enough to make you think, "Oh man, we are. We can compete toe to toe with Kansas City Chiefs on a neutral field. We are very good. We are going to take this game." And it's just nothing. And it's concerning to me because as much as I love our offense and it's fun to watch, when they've shown up against the big teams, they basically do squat because they had one nice drive where they got the touchdown yesterday. But like I said, the other one was set up nicely by us getting a strip sack. Nice, beautiful play. That's part of complimentary football. So I'm not making that as an excuse of why we scored, but it definitely helped our offense. And then, Chris Jones decides he's going to smack Austin Jackson for whatever reason after we would have not had a first down and we got a first down. So thank you, Chris Jones, to get us back in the game where at that point I'm thinking, okay, things have turned around and we're going to win. But you could just see the flow just wasn't there yesterday. And it's just, yes, I think they sacked 2 or 3 times. They had pressure on others. They blew up a couple running plays, but it wasn't that. It was just we never got on. It's like either two of us a little off on his passes. A couple players could have made grabs. There was a couple that would have been difficult catches. There would have been a difficult catch for a couple that Tyreek Hill could have had, and he just didn't make. Tua could have made it maybe a little easier on like one that he went had to jump up. He had Tyreek Hill wide open, but he threw it a little too high. But the replay shows that it kind of went through Tyreek's hand, so he could have probably caught that ball. And in games like that, you need guys to help out your quarterback at times and make a great grab. Like you're like, holy crap, he just made a beautiful grab. And that helps at times. You need your star players to make star plays in punch time. Yeah, that was, man. There are positives, Scotty. That was a great play. You are right, man. It was just like I was even thinking of the other guy might have the ball for the minute. I see Chris and Will ball on top of the TV screen and just bam. That was a beautiful play. We had so many moments like that we did well. And it's just a wasted good defensive performance against a well-performing offensive machine in the Kansas City Chiefs. And we just had all the opportunities, and once again, we come up short in this. I think that's why it's the most disappointing day yesterday. Yes, Chubb and Phillips. I don't think Phillips is going to get the 15, Scotty, by the way, but he is starting to get some sacks. And if he gets to 15 at this point, boy, he's really going to go on fire. Good morning, Eric. Tough loss has to step on these moments. Good morning. This is from Eric Rivera. Tough loss. Tua has to step up these moments, and McDaniel has to stop getting cute with off plays. If we made a comeback back in the days, we wouldn't have folded. I know, Eric. It was like I said, there was plenty of blame to go around yesterday. Unfortunately, I do not believe it was one of McDaniel better days calling plays. And still, I mean, with all that said, at the end, we still had a chance. That's what gives you a little bit of hope, but then still makes you like say, well, really, do we have any hope? Because it's just tough, man. Just tough to keep on swallowing these losses. Yeah, I agreed right there, Daniel. You are right. We still could very much in control of our own destiny as far as good playoff positioning. 100% you are correct. You are what your record says you are, right? 6-3 says the Dolphins are in sole possession of first place in the AFC with a very winnable 5 to 6 games out of 8 left, 5 at home. I agree 100%, Daniel. My only comeback on that would be that it'd be nice to see us beat some teams because if we get to the playoffs, we are going to have to beat these teams. And if we now what's disappointing about yesterday, that could be the difference of us having to go to Kansas City or playing in Hard Rock Stadium come playoff game time. You just never know. And that's a big difference. And the key to winning in the playoffs is having those home games. So I think that's why yesterday's was like the double. You're so close to not being, being in control. Not so much control because the Ravens are playing great ball too. But we would have been one of those 72 teams and just really ready to go. So, like I said, going into the bye week, then we got the Raiders, and we should beat the Raiders. The Raiders played much better yesterday, I know, against the Giants with their new interim coach, but that new interim coach magic should be gone by the time the Dolphins face, by the time the Raiders travel across country to play the Dolphins here in week 11. Week 10 will be, like I say, the Dolphins being off, and I'm going to look up the week 10 games real quick and see. Tuesday, Sunday, November 12th. When did that? Okay, yeah, I guess I was wrong about that. Trying to find who did the Bills. Oh, no. Okay, no, the Bills play the Broncos. So they're going to win that. Then it's the following week that those teams play. Okay. So I think, yeah, let's see. So yeah, the Bills, I mean the Broncos going, yeah, that's gonna be ugly. And then it's us going to the Jets. So okay. I know there you go. That's where I was confused. So yeah, the Broncos are gonna get killed by the Bills. So that's why I said next bye week, you know, it's not really many games to watch. It's like there's not even that many great games to watch where I'm looking forward because the Broncos are gonna maybe the Raiders could beat the Jets. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know. So yeah, we're not. Hey, I thought that you're right. Are we sure? But being in Buffalo, I would think there's a pretty good chance. But I agree with like Daniel said. Let's try to look at the positive. We could beat the dead horse. I let all the other shows beat the dead horse today. We lost. We lost once again against a good quality team in a disappointing way this time. The good stuff is we still control our own destiny. We got going into our bye week. We see some of the news on the injury front. Hopefully, we get Chan back, who's a big weapon in our offense, and we stick with the running game a little bit more because I know people are saying, "Oh, they were stopping our running game." I beg to differ. Mozart was running the ball well, and they kind of went away from that. The man was averaging 7 yards a carry, and these screen passes we do, like the screen that they threw to Tyreek, and just we don't set it up well for whatever reason. I don't know. You watch other teams do it and they have like 10 blockers. And obviously, they don't have 10 blockers, but you get my point. They got multiple blockers out there, and we set it up, and our guy's getting nailed in the face almost the minute he catches the ball, and he has to be able to make a move. So, hey, you're right, man. The Bills are not playing well, which is the only kind of backup prize for the Dolphins after us losing to these good teams is that the Bills don't look like they're as powerful as we were all making them out to be at the start of the season. So, Michael K is making his. Can we compete with teams with winning record, or are we just the best of the worst? So frustrating. Yes, Honey Bunny. Hey, thank you, Honey Bunny 13. If you're new here, tackle that subscribe button and give some thumbs up if you like the show. Only tackle the subscribe button if we earn it from you. The Bills and Dolphins are awful. I won't say they're awful yet, Michael K. There's still a lot. Same for your team. There's a lot of games left. Hey, hey, Miss Fins. Thank you as always, Miss Fins, for coming in here. You put on another super duper show this morning. It was great. Bengals by 14. Yes, I did think the I did say the Bengals were going to win that game too. The Bengals are no joke. They're up there. They're right there. They might be the best team in the AFC at the end of the day. They're very good. They got Joe Burrow playing very well now after a slow start with his, somewhat injured. And now he's running around, he's throwing. So they're very tough. The Ravens, that's going to be a tough battle for those two. I mean, the Ravens and the Bengals, and of course the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets are all going to be competing for the AFC East, and they better win one of those. We will see. We will see. Man, the way it's looking, only one team from our division going to the. That's why I'm afraid, Eric, that we may have to win the division. I know there's a lot of football to be played, and some of those teams, like the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns, are going to start beating each other up. But yeah, man, I was saying that earlier, man, that could very, very well be the what happens. Because let's see, a quick look at the division. That division, they have the Ravens at 7-2, the Steelers at 5-3, the Browns at 5-3, and the Bengals at 5-3. I mean, that's insane, man. Then you got Jacksonville at 6-2 in the AFC, and they're running away with that. Even though the Texans aren't as bad as people thought they were going to be. And then basically you got the AFC West. You're going to basically have the Chiefs. And a couple of years ago, we were all anointing the AFC West as the division, but they're probably going to have one representative. They got Kansas City, and then they got the 4-5 Raiders. And then let's see. Like I said, that AFC North, that's the humdinger of a division, boy. 7-2, 5-3, 5-3, 5-3. And Cincinnati's on the bottom of that division, but my prediction by the end of the year, they're the team on top of that division. That's my outside prediction. And then our division is us 6-3, the Jets 4-3 with a game tonight. Go Chargers! Come on, Chargers! Come on, Herbert! Do some Dolphin fans some love, Herbert, so we can hear your fans say about how great you are. So and then we got Buffalo at 5-4, and the Patriots, as we can all enjoy that the Patriots are down on the bottom. Bill Belichick's not getting closer to Shula's record, not at a fast pace right now. They come in at 2-7. So, with that said, that's yes, the Eagles are really they got the best team in football right now, and they're the only team with one loss over there. The only way we're gonna get our rematch against them is to play them in the Super Bowl. So, and that's a long ways away. We can get a rematch against the Chiefs. We will get a rematch against the Bills, and we got the Ravens still on the docket. So there's chances that we can play, but I know it is, Scotty, because they start beating each other up. But man, that division over there is. I just think the best way to do it is win your division because you're guaranteed at least one home playoff game if you win your division. So if nothing else, the number one seed may have gone out the window yesterday. I mean, there's a lot of football to be played. And I haven't looked at the Ravens schedule, but I would assume they still got some division games coming up. And so they're going to have some tough. I know they got us on the docket, but up there, that's the thing, man. The schedule makers, it's just how the schedule fell this year. All the good teams we play just happen to be on the road, other than the Cowboys. We got the Cowboys coming, but like the Chiefs, that would have been at Arrowhead. So all the games we played would have been on the road. And hey, that's just how the schedule fell. And then the home games this year, we have an advantage and we've won our home games. So that is good. We've taken advantage of those teams at home. But man, all those I would at least like to at least have like one of those games fall where it fell into our lap at home. Like have the Ravens here or have one of those teams here. But hey, it is what it is. We, we got to play the teams on our schedule. There's no excuse because come playoff time, you're not going to be able to say, well, I don't want to play. You play who's on your schedule. Yes, this is what I'm hoping for, Eric, that the Charger have to beat. That's what I'm rooting for. You know, I'll be honest. Maybe petty, maybe complaining, whatever, but I don't care. I'm definitely rooting for Justin Herbert to beat the Jets tonight because the Jets are right there. And if the Jets win, they're right there with Buffalo and basically have they basically would have a tiebreaker against Buffalo because they beat Buffalo. So it's just, I mean, they're right there on our tails, man. That's crazy. And I thought when they lost Aaron Rodgers, their season was done, but that defense is no joke. Yes, the Eagles they're the most balanced team, the Eagles, crazy Dolphin. They are definitely because they got offense and defense. They're just an overall really tough team to beat. Dallas played them tough yesterday. I'm no Dallas Cowboy fan, but they played them tougher than I thought they were going to play them. And it was, they definitely showed that they can be beat, but, it is what it is. But I would definitely, it doesn't go far. I'm not going out on a limb saying the Eagles are the best team in football. They were in the Super Bowl last year and they only have one loss. So it's not like I'm breaking news there that the Eagles are good. Jets will beat the Dolphins two times. Obvious, they proved they are the real defense. Well, we'll see, Mike. Okay, there's a good chance they beat you two times. They've already beaten you once. So, I can throw that back at you too. So it's just one of those stats. 2-16, 2 at home. So obviously all of our road games are the best teams. We always play at best on the road. We struggle. Yeah. We always play the best. Yep, that is how we are. We struggle. Gotta get no, you definitely right, Scotty. They gotta play on the road. And they're gonna have to play on the road in the playoffs, it's looking like because we just fell. It was tough. Yesterday was a tough loss. I know, Michael K, but you're always about the Bills, so I can throw some shade at the Bill, but this is Dolphins thirsty. So thank you for coming in, Michael K. I'm just saying, if you're gonna throw some shade at mine, I can throw your shade right back at you. And let's see, what does Scotty says? Oh yeah, no, I already covered that. Good, but I would point it up there again. No, you're right, man. At home, when Tua starts at home, we are a whole different team. This week we have a nice bye week. We're gonna see what we do, who we get back. Really hope Chan comes back because I mean his mystery injury was a knee, and McDaniel basically said he's not long term, he's more week to week, but then they put him on the IR. But I'm hoping that means he's ready. I'd be liking to see when that window opens on him. Always, always miss Fins. And Michael K. Some people think you were incognito in another show this morning as someone else. So I don't know. It's the AFC East. Every team we can talk about. There you go. So I don't know. Let's see. Daniel. The Dolphins are 16-2 and they passed 18 can't hard. The last time the Dolphins won 16 at home was 10. Yes, I know. Those are the good old days, man. And we are definitely a much better home team. Some of it's, yes, the opponents we've played at home. And it's going to be interesting to see how we do against the Cowboys, the Bills, and the Jets at home this year. to see if we can keep those winning rate. And I'm not ruling out the Raiders. I can't look anyone over in this NFL, or you will take a loss quickly because sometimes these teams play well under an interim coach. And yesterday, yes, they beat the Giants. So I'm not saying they're taking the next step up. Now, if they can beat the Jets next week, I think that's who they play next week. It's the Jets on, and I actually think that might be at the Sunday night football game they were advertising last night. It's the only reason that I remember. So that would be nice to see if maybe the Raiders could upset the Jets. I would love to see the Chargers upset them. All right, there I got you. All right, I don't. I come here because hey, I would never take advantage of anyone. I don't know who. I know Miss Finch would not take advantage of you, Michael K. I would be hard pressed to think Miss Finch takes advantage of you. She's a top super flight lady, and they're all good. But I like you in here too, Michael K. I like everyone, man, whether they root for my team or other. Miss Dolphins Thirsty is the best. Thank you, Miss Finch. Shake Money. What's good, Mr. Shake Money? I still gotta get somehow we gotta meet Shake Money. I don't know if you're going to any other games this year, but somehow I gotta find out where you guys tailgate and try to run over there real quick because I'm normally just get to the stadium and get in the stadium type fan. I get in the stadium by 11 a.m., but I'm not the big tailgater guy. So I just go in there and I go to the stadium, walk around the stadium, get my steps in, walking around the loops of the stadium before I sit down in my seat. But always love the vibe of the stadium. But I need to meet you one day. So, as we can say, now back onto yesterday's game a little bit. Let's see. We want the Chargers to win. Let's go, Herbert. Yes, let's go, Herbert. We don't say that too often in Dolphin land, but let's go, Herbert. Beat those Jets tonight. Help out our division chances because I really want to win the AFC East this year. It's one step closer to getting our first playoff win for a long time. Get that monkey off our back, and then maybe we can take the next step up. You got to beat good teams. We got to start beating good teams because in the playoffs, you're going to play good teams. So does it worry me that we haven't beaten a team with a winning record? Yes. But yesterday's game was just, to me, it was just the Dolphins beating themselves yesterday. I'm not making excuses because that's football. You can't beat yourselves. But it's not like Kansas City ever took control of that game. Even when they were up 21-0, it was that we gifted them 7 points at the end of the first half. You just never felt like, oh, they were just kicking our butts, smashing our mouth in. They had 2 nice drives in the first half. The game opening drive, they took it right down the field and scored. Then they had like a 95-yard drive where they controlled the whole damn time off the clock and went and scored. So those were 2 nice drives. But that's a Super Bowl winning Patrick Mahomes offense. You're expect that during the course of a game. Other than that, we shut their offense down, guys. We shut their offense down. Our defense stood up and did their part yesterday. And it's just the offense couldn't do their part yesterday. And it just squarely falls on the offensive side of the ball. Now, if you want to blame, like I said, now I'm getting more people in here, so I repeat myself. So whether you want to blame Tua, you want to blame McDaniel, you want to blame Connor Williams on the snap, which I blame Tua for because it hit him in the hands, whatever. We shouldn't have even gotten to that point. We should have been more in flow of the game. No excuse. Poor game plan, obviously. Kansas City knew what we were doing. Like I say, it's not like they were just smashing through our line and cutting down every single play we did. We just missed throws. Tua missed some throws. And the thing about, I would like to maybe see Claypool get more involved somehow. Maybe he can be that big body guy that can get some contested balls a little bit more. Because if you watch that Cincinnati game last night, and they go up there, they got guys that go up there. Joe Burrow's great. No doubt about it. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. But if you look at it, man, they make some snatches for that man that helps him out. And yes, we get where we help our quarterback out is the yak yards after play and all that. I'm going to see guys up there going and grabbing balls that it's like a 50-50, and we snatch those balls and make a hard catch on a little bit off pass. Help out your quarterback. He's going to help you out later, hitting you right in the hands in stride. Help each other out as a team. And that's what I don't really see from a receiver sometimes. Just them making like a Waddle had a nice one. Waddle had a nice one a couple last week, I think it was. We do have guys that will go up there and snatch the ball to help two out, but we need more of that, man. Go up there, and then it's a 50-50 ball. Make it your ball, and that's it. That's where we really have to go to. It was total offense, not any particular player or coach. Offensive team lost. Well said, Scotty. More or less, kind of what I said. It was just bad on the last couple of plays of the game. If you want to blame Tua, you want to blame whatever, that's okay. But throughout the whole game, it wasn't just on Tua. There were so many other opportunities there. Why go away from a guy averaging over 7 yards to carry, guys? Don't think I'm making this up. Go look at stats. Mozart was averaging 7 yards to carry yesterday, and they just went away from it. So is that Tua's fault? They went away from it. Run the damn ball sometimes. And that's about the bad word I was saying on here. Run the freaking ball. You had your opportunities to take control of that game. It's just very frustrating, man. And I feel your pain and therapy session needed, Miss Fins, because this game I really just pinned as a game that was like the must win. Scotty and I, he can vouch. Me and him were saying the Eagles game going into the Eagle games. We were saying it was not really a must win because it was a non conference game. Yes, would have been nice to win. Of course, we always want the Dolphins to win. But this was the game that we really circled there saying we got to beat. Because like Buffalo, it would have been nice to get the monkey in off our back, being able to win in Buffalo. That would have been nice. But we know we would get another shot at Buffalo this year. It's always in the AFC. It's hard to sweep your AFC division opponents, AFC East opponents, if all teams are pretty good. It's hard to beat a team twice. So, they're going to have to come try to beat us twice now. So, I mean, that's okay. But this is the game that I would have circled on the calendar. Woo, woo, ba, boom. That's what, and I even have it, to prove I circled this on the calendar. I even made a special banner for this game way back then. See? Whoa, this was it. This was my big game. This is the game I wanted. This was a game that would show that the Dolphins are down in the top of the AFC picture. And that's what I wanted. This is why I feel Miss Finn's pain, because this is the game that I really had the big hope for. The fandom, I call it fandom because I'm a Dolphins fan. So my fandom was really rocking for this game. I wanted it so bad. And to lose, I was in a bad mood yesterday. I basically skipped all things football. Didn't even watch my good buddies over on the Real Talk Spins Sports Network. They put on, I'm sure their post-game show was great last night, but I didn't even want to watch it because I'm like, I need like a little breather here, at least 24 hours before I did my show to come in here and be ready to go with the flow. And that's why this one hurts a little bit more. I really thought this was our time to shine, that this would be the game that we show the football world, American football world. I know as you say football across the world, they may think soccer, but our version of football, this was our chance to show we are the dominant team in the AFC, and we fell flat. That's what's the most disappointing. If Kansas City would have just routed us 49-0 and just killed us, then I would have been, oh my God, we just really. But we just had so many opportunities to get back in, and our defense gave us chances to get back in the game, and they just never did. Like I said, if you want to blame Tua, I'm not going to say you're wrong. If you want to say it wasn't Tua, it was McDaniel, I'm not going to say you're wrong. It was the combination of them all. It's frustrating. I mean, there's no analyzing it needed. Miss Finn's already broke it down perfectly this morning. The fact is, we came up short. Like I say, if you want to say it was a duck, if you want to say it was miscommunication, at the end of the day, it was just an ugly play, no matter how you slice it. And it's just it. From how Tua worded it, it sounded to me like he thought it was going to be a comeback, and then all of a sudden he realized it's not going to be a comeback, and he was trying it, and it just came out like an ugly, ugly pass and squirt it out of there like a wet watermelon seed. It's just, it was just an ugly thing. But then, that wasn't fourth down. We still had our chance to come up clutch on fourth down, which we've had done many times this year, and we can't handle a snap. So that's why it just was it's just the minute we couldn't handle that snap, I should have gone and taken a nap and called it a day. But instead I went and at least I did more productive things than sitting there watching football all day. So hey Newfoundland, I'm sorry, but see. Yes, I agree, Newfoundland. You can't make those mistakes. They weren't there at the beginning of the season. So something went south. I don't understand. I just don't get it. The one thing I wholeheartedly disagree with Mayo is on playing Armin. I just don't. I know, but we're kind of in a spot there. I mean, what are they going to do? Only Mozart and Wilson, maybe? I guess you could say Wilson over Ahmed. But hopefully, we get A Chan back real soon. And I'm hoping he's playing against the Raiders, and that will get us back on that. And you won't see Ahmed as much. You see the difference. He just doesn't have that burst. Nothing against him. He's a Miami Dolphin, but he just doesn't have that burst. So yes, play Wilson is what you're saying. I know that was weird. Mr. Courtwright, I thought that was weird too. That he's out there, and then the next thing you know, that they do. I thought the same thing. But anyway, Waddle went out with an injury. Our head coach calls a reverse for Waddle when he came back into the game. Bad play call. We got fired than you for the same problem of play call. But we did gain yards on that play. Was be fair, but I just thought it was kind of weird to put the stress on him like that. And yeah, I thought that was kind of weird too. On the first play back, give him a reverse where he has not only a chance to have to do a lot of running, but has a chance where he could get popped. So yes, Ahmed is the only. Let's see, Ahmed is the only automatic is guaranteed to go down on first. Yes, that's unfortunately because we know they did that little no look pass, which they had done earlier in the season to A Chan, and you can see the difference. Because I think if that little no look pass to A Chan, I think somehow that becomes a big play because there was an opening there. Ahmed just didn't make it a big play. A Chan would have burst through there. I don't know if you remember that play during the game. There's a couple plays like that. Oh no, Waddle is definitely tough. He gets banged up almost every game, but he comes back every game. He is tough. He will play, and I like seeing him out there because he's definitely a needed part going down. 6-3 going into the bye week. I would have much rather, 6-3 going into the bye week. If we don't start, I don't know. Can I say? We got to start. We could end up being worse than we were. We were at 8-3 at one point last year. So now we got to win the next couple of games just to get to 8-3. So we gotta get better, man. We just gotta get better in the clutch time. This is a time of year it gets tougher, and you gotta play well, man. You gotta play in the clutch times because let's face it, going up the Raiders, we sh- we should win coming out of the bye week. If we beat the Raiders coming out of the bye week, then almost putting the white flags up on the ship, and I will enjoy the rest of the game without the stress of worrying about the playoffs. So it's just hopefully they beat the Raiders coming out of the bye. That would get us to 7 wins. But then you got the Jets, which is no give me at all, and that's where everything start getting real, and we will have lots of answers, a lot of questions answered coming down. Are we fake or real? And I'm trying to find, here it is. So we got, like I said, we're at week 10 at the bye. Then we got the Raiders at home. Then we got the at Jets. And then you got to get both of those in my book. And then you got to beat the Titans at home and you got to beat the Jets. But beating the Jets on the road is not going to be a give me. So I'm not really counting that. But to me, it'd be very vital. And then, of course, it's tough, man. It's a tough. I mean, the Commanders is no joke. And I'm saying we should get that. But they traded away some of their talent. We should be able to beat, but that's no joke. They're a well coached team, and that's not going to be joke going in there. Then, like I say, we got and you can see it. It's just a lot of tough games coming up, man. We got to get that. We got to get those wins, man. But all those games on there, there's winnable games I see on there, so that's a good thing. Could some of them be also go the other way? Of course they could. Let's see. Oh, I almost brought up. There you go. A different look. Throw something else at you guys to remind you of that big old thumbs up as a hint. Let's see. All right. Let me see. I see some new comments in here. Hey, hooked up Joe. Better late than never. You walked up. The Washington D looked pretty solid. Yes, they did. That's what I'm saying. There's no give me's in the NFL anyway. So that's why I take our 6 wins because there's no give me wins in the NFL. I'm not saying, oh, we only beat crappy teams, but yes, that is definitely not a give me. That's a very tough game going in there. It's very tough. Because the TV show Dolphins has fourth seed and the stat below said 0-3 versus no, you're right. No, we're not going to shake that. They're going to throw that at us every opportunity they have. The media loves to stick that to the Dolphins. And the sad part is we could have erased that narrative yesterday. We had it in our control and we failed to erase that narrative. So it's fair criticism. We haven't beaten the team with a winning record yet. It is what it is. And it is that. And it's the truth. And the truth hurts sometimes, but the Dolphins have the chance to eliminate that story still. It's just we're gonna have to see that, Buffalo Bill fan tweeting that cupcake saying, "Oh, the Dolphins haven't won in so many days against a winning team," but some of these Bill fans do need to worry about their own team first. But it is what it is. Let's see, Newfoundland, especially after firing Josh McDaniels and the GM of the Raiders. So let's see what the Newfoundland. They weren't there. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, you're right, man. Hey, if the Dolphins beat the Cowboys, they will say Dallas is not that good. Ravens game is another one. Yes, and that's going to be very hard. Historically, the Dolphins have not done well up there. Of course, we know the narrative last year, and we just had a magical fourth quarter, and we finally beat that stigma. But we may have to do that again. The Ravens are playing very well right now, but maybe they're a team that's peaking because sometimes teams peak early and then they start flattening out. And right now, though, I mean, the Ravens are playing some of the best football. I mean, they blew out the Seahawks, who are a decent team. They blew out the Lions, who are a decent team. They just hammer those teams at home. So that is going to be a scary game going up there against the Ravens for sure. We have lost games against 2 teams in the Super Bowl and the Bills with Liam in his first game ever as a start. The whole has beaten a good. I agree, hooked up, Joe. I agree. But I would just like to end that narrative just because, not so much from, I don't care what the media says and this and that, but from the perspective of if you want to advance in the playoffs, you are going to have to beat teams with winning records. So that's mine because we could very well get into the playoffs without beating a team with a winning record all year. But if you're one and done again, to me, this is a very disappointing year. To me, this is a lot more. I'm not saying win the Super Bowl. Only one team at the end of the year. Of course, that's what I want. That's what every fan of every 32 fan bases want their team to win the Super Bowl. But I want to take a baby step and at least win a playoff game this year to end that because you always see that pop up on the screen. We're up there with the Detroit Lions and long playoff victory droughts. So I would love to knock that narrative out of the ballpark that we're no longer that first team that pops up in longest playoff drought when the playoffs come around and the Dolphins are number 2 on that list right behind the Lions. It's pretty sad. So that's where I want. So you got to get there. Yeah, Cincinnati is hitting stride. You talking about? Yeah, no, I agree, man. Hitting that stride. No, they are. Cincinnati started off sluggish. They are on a roll. We will see how they do against the Ravens. I should have done better homework and had the schedules all up there. Have they Mr. Cora, have Cincinnati and the Ravens already played one game against each other yet, or or do they still got a couple games coming up? I don't know, but I know that Cincinnati started slow. I think Cleveland beat Cincinnati to start the season. I know, or something in there. No, hey, Mr. Stubbs, a big fins up to you and thumbs up to you, Mr. Stubbs. And then, yes, that is so funny because one of my keys was don't let Kelsey beat you. And lo and behold, the Dolphins didn't let Kelsey beat us, but we still lost the game. I mean, we kept him quiet. I think he had like 3 catches, something like that. Nothing, no touchdowns, no big play that you're like, son of a gun, how did he get so open? We took him out of the equation. A beautiful thing. Should have been enough to win the game yesterday, but it's just our offense decided to have a European vacation and they didn't come to play. So it's just let's be on the ball, much better team than they are playing. However, they seem to be struggling in cohesiveness. They lose people, get new ones, and then it doesn't. I agree on that front, Miss Finns. Good take there. I hope they keep on not having, I hope they don't hit their stride. Yep. The blame coaching 62 20. The blame coaching 60, 20, Tyreek 20, defense. I agree. The defense is not to blame at all in this game. Not at all. It's zero blame on the defense. 100% on the offense. However, you want to break the equations. Some people may blame a little more on the coaching, a little less on the coaching, a little more on Tua, a little more on Tyreek, but definitely a goose egg for the defense as far as blame because they shut out the Chiefs in the second half. I mean, they shut out Patrick Mahomes led offense with a healthy Kelsey in the second half to 0 points, gifted them 7 points from the offensive side. We gave them 7. So 14 points we held them to. Definitely 100% on the offense, and we can all agree. Some people may say more on the Tua. It may be some people are blame Tua more and then the coach. Some people are blame throw a little more high percent in there for Tyreek, but very well said, Stubbs. It definitely the blame goes on the offensive side of the football without a doubt. It's just if you would have told me, like I said, going into the game, hey Rob, Mr. Dolphins thirsty. The Dolphins are going to hold Mr. Holmes to 14 points and shut them out in the second half. But they won't tell me that they get the 21. They got 7, but they would have said your defense holds Kansas City to 14, 2 offensive touchdowns, and shuts them out the whole second half. I would have taken that right away and say we won the game. Of course, I'm going to take that, figuring that we would muster up a few scores, but no. So that's why I say it's definitely 100% on the offense. I don't like putting one blame on one person because it is a team game, but it's definitely the offensive team that cost us this game. It's without a doubt, man. It's just they gave us the ball so many times and a chance to take leads in that game, and it's just and not leads, but to tie the game up, even after being down 21-0. And then we made it 21-14. They gave us 2 chances, the defense did. They got the ball back where all we had to do was score to tie the game up. 2 drives. One, we didn't get anything done. The next, we drove all the way down there to throw the duck, to have the miscommunication, to have the bad snap, all whatever you want to call it, to bite us in the butt. It was just still. Yep. Kelsey, 3 catches. Yep. Yep. No, I agree, man. You are right. You're right, man. I don't know what to say, Mr. Stubbs, other than to say it's the offense, man, and just how you want to slice the blame up. I may give a little, I don't know. I think your numbers were pretty close. I blame coaching more than Tua, but I may give a little higher percent to Tua and take a little off the coaching, but definitely up there. No, you're right, man. If the Bills suck, what does that say about us? I don't really know if anyone's saying they suck unless I miss something. I don't think they really suck, but they're just not playing that well. They're not playing that well right now, and we're just up. We happen to be in top of the division because they're not playing well. Mr. Justin Herbert. Hopefully, Cap can win for us tonight. No, that's just not his style, Mr. Scotty. It's just he's Scotty says I was too. I was a little more vocal on the sideline, but I just don't think he'd do that. Yeah, definitely is not his style. Yeah, I agree from play calling and players at fault for sure. Like I said, if you had to play, I mean, if the three central figures in that loss yesterday, Mike McDaniel, Tua, and Hill. However, you want to chop up the percentage of how they took the blame. That's fine. Inexcusable down the end there, though. Inexcusable. I mean, they look like a high school team trying to function at the end there. There's like just totally off course. Just bad. I mean, if it would have been like Kansas City, just like Chris Jones penetrating the gap and just killing Tua, you would have said, okay, we just beat ourselves, man. We had the play there. We had a wide open receiver. Tua, for whatever reason, threw a horrible pass. McDaniel tried to take blame off Tua, saying it was miscommunication. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether it was miscommunication. No, the end result is an incomplete pass. And when you had a wide open guy to tie that freaking game up. Then, like I said, okay, you get a reprieve. You get one, but that wasn't fourth down. We get one more play, and we can't even get off a clean snap. And I blame Tua for the snap. Some people are blaming Connor on mine. To me, it hits him in the hands. We hold receivers to be guard, give quarterbacks the benefit for the doubt. Well, it hit him in the hands. He should have caught it. Well, this snap hit Tua in the hands. He should have handled the snap, and he should have at least gotten a playoff. It may have been like a Hail Mary at that point because he may have had pressure on him coming up there anyway. But he looked like when you see it, there was like people open on the play, but it just is. It's just what it is going to be. Let's see what did someone that was our going on early failed in Cali against in Germany. No more team building trips, maybe. Yes, I agree. You are right. We stayed 2 weeks out there in California. Boom, it didn't work. This week we spent a whole week out there. We were out there, we flew out our Monday, probably got there in the wee hours. They had the Tuesday there for their players' day off. Then they had their regularly scheduled practices. I thought maybe that was the right way to do it. End of the day, it didn't help. So you are right on that front, Joe. Tua has to step up at these moments. Look at Hurts. He puts the team on his back. I agree, man. And that's what makes it hurt doing so well. When you consider his draft position and Tua's draft position, it just shows that this is no rocket science when it comes. But I think Tua's good, and I'm not going to pick on Tua yet. If he doesn't lead the team to the promise, not in the promised land as far as him in the Super Bowl promised land, just if he doesn't lead this team to a playoff victory, we will see Tua probably play on his fifth-year option next year instead of reworking his contract. I think if he gets a playoff win, we may rework his contract. I don't know what they're going to do, or they may want to see Tua one more year under his fifth-year option. Instead, because they haven't committed to him yet. So I don't know if that's a sign of the salary cap issues we have. That would actually free up some money for next year, or is it because they're not committed to him yet? So that's the big debate on that front. Targets chase more. Oh yeah, no, for sure, man. Guys are always going to target their best guys. But I do agree if someone pointed out that maybe in the clutch time we go to him a little too much for a team. For a team been all week and looked like that. So I know, man, Mister. It was just a sorry performance. Is how I look at it. I don't know who was our player who was wearing an orange brown outfit. I don't even know. I didn't even see all of that, man. Tua is getting paid. Who's out there? Oh no, I know I think he's going to get paid, but it's not like the Dolphins have knocked down that door yet. Herbert's already got his money from that draft class. Joe Burrow's already got his money from that draft class. Jalen Hurts has already got his money from that draft class. And he was later on, and they have not given it to Tua yet. But like I said, that may be more of a reflection because of the salary cap where the Dolphins are tight against the numbers, trying to get cheap year out of Tua, milk those cheap years as long as possible. So that could be on that front. Yeah, I know. That was funny, man. That was funny. That was a popular Halloween costume for whatever reason this year. Scotty was Mike McDaniel. He even said he did not want to accept that as reality. Mike McDaniel said when he was told he was a popular Halloween costume this year. Tua gets too jumpy when blitzed. Yeah, sometimes he does, but he's faced blitzed okay this year. He has numbers against him, but you're right. And but I don't even think yesterday was that. I think it was just I don't know what that was. I can't even describe what that was yesterday. Maybe Scotty will break it down in all 22 and look at that play 10,000 times and tell us when he comes back here on Wednesday or something. But that was just ugly ending. Let's see. Yeah, I still have not seen the Kid McDaniel. Oh, yes, I did. I did. It was when he was running. Yeah, I did. I did see it. I heard it talked about, and then I finally saw it after Halloween. I saw it days later. Um, Daniel Newfoundland chimes in that Jones got paid 40. Tua will get 50 plus. As long as McD runs the style offense, Tua will be the QB. We will see, Newfoundland. We will see if he gets down. I would like him to take, but he won't take a team friendly deal because he's gone through a lot. He's going to get what he can get, and I don't blame him. But it'd be nice if he took a little less so he knows that he can keep some of these star players around him to help. But that's not realistic. He's not married to, the supermodel that makes billions of dollars more than he does. So it's tough. But I don't know. Two is up to the part more than the QB. Not sure what some guy. No, that's what I was saying, Scotty. To me, he is actually okay. Where he misses is just sometimes it's I don't. Well, hey, I'm back. I'm gonna close out before I go out again. Sorry, guys. If you guys haven't done so, thumbs up, as I like to say, fins up, still fins up, 6-3, atop the AFC East. Very disappointing loss yesterday. No way to slice it, and I'm not gonna put rainbows on that one. It was. Thank you, Mr. Courtwright. I hope I'm back. I'm gonna get out of here before I freeze out again. You guys rock as always. I'll be on tomorrow night with Steve Malloy at 7:30 p.m. on the Fins Talk Sports Network and here 10 a.m. Wednesday. And I'm back. Okay. Let me go. I'm going to close out before I can't close out. My internet is wonky. Fins up. Go Dolphins.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, man, he knows how to play. Dolphins.